Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of February. I hope you're well, and I'm sorry that these are late. I've been quite under the weather for the last couple of days. And I wasn't really up to doing the readings, but I'm here now. So thank you for waiting for me. So these are structured slightly differently to the main monthly readings. And they're shorter because they're only covering that 2 week period or 1 week period now, as it is, say, for you now. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the energy where you are right now, and then we're going to have a look at the lesson that is contained within that energy for you, whether that is preparing you for something new that is coming in or trying to teach you something about yourself in the here and now. If that doesn't make any sense, bear with me, because it will by the end of the reading, and we'll pull some advice cards at the end. If you are interested in a 6-month overview for your sign, that is available on Vimeo. It's down there in the description box, covering January to June 2021, and they've run to over an hour and a half long, so I think they're well worth the money. I think some of them are over 2 hours actually. So let's have a look. So I did, as I always do, meditation for your sign before I even started the camera rolling, and there's some very interesting energy came through. Let's see if any cards come out to verify what it was that I felt when I was in that meditation. If not, we'll just tack it on the end as a thing, because there was certainly a message there for some of you. So let's have a look. We're using the Llewellyn for you today. Have some cards for Capricorn right now, please. We have the 10 of Wands. We have the Ace of Wands. And we have the 3 of Swords. That's interesting. We have Death at the bottom of the deck here, and that I find quite interesting too. We've got the 9 of Wands and Temperance underneath. Ooh, and the Devil. And the Sun. Gosh, a whole heap of cards here. So, the Death card is a card of Scorpio, and it talks about intense transformation of something, right? It's specifically, it's transformation from one state into another. And we can see that reflected right here, in fact, by these two first cards. The 10 of Wands and the Ace of Wands. Now, and the tarot is about cycles, right? And often it's cycles within cycles. And the Pips cards, as these are, the numbered cards, are one of those cycles within cycles. Because the 10 of Wands is an end, right? As all the cards that are numbered 10 are. But this is a card that speaks specifically about burden, right? Sometimes when I see this, I think of people picking the hard way to do things, right? Like, does he really need 10 wands? Did he need to carry them back like that? Could he not have put some down, come back for them later? You know, would 3 wands have done? Something like that, right? So we've got an end there. And when we come to an end, the next card really that we want to see is the Ace again, because from this point you're going to loop around. At some point you'll get to a 10 and then you'll get to an Ace again, right? So here we have a transformation from one state, sorry, that way around for you, from one state into another. And we've got the Death card at the bottom of the deck, talking specifically to this theme for you. Underneath it we have the 9 of Wands as well, which is not the precursor to the 10, obviously, but it talks about boundaries sometimes, and sometimes talk about really needing to keep fighting, even though you don't want to, you know. Ultimately it's like the end is in sight, we've just got to keep going a little bit further. But underneath here we've got the Temperance card, we've got the Devil card, and we've got the Sun. The Temperance card is about healing. The Devil card is clearly you, right? It's the Capricorn card right here. And then we've got the Sun. We've got another state of transformation being undergone here. The Devil is sometimes associated with toxicity and abuse and all those kind of grim things, but no card is one way wholly positive or wholly negative, right? And the flip side of the Devil is that material earthiness, right? Everything in the material realm is under the purview of the Devil because it is made solid. The fact that the Sun is underneath there for you is talking about transmuting something, just as the Temperance card, Sagittarian card, transmutation of something that is difficult into something endlessly creative and something actually quite authentically you. Now, I was smirking because what came through was some really, you know, quite overpoweringly sexual imagery, right? Now, for some of you, you have issues with really letting yourself go in a sexual context, right? Now, sexual energy is just like any other energy, you know, it's a form of release, but it speaks specifically to your roots chakra, right? It's about those kind of base instincts, but they are the things that make you feel in the here and now. I put a post on Instagram this morning, and it set off a whole kind of chain reaction of thoughts in my head, because for me, the one suit is about the blood that pumps in your veins, right? That's all of it. It talks about it. It's a very physical feeling, everything in the wand suit here. And the need for the blood to pump, for you to actually feel like you're here in this body and truly alive, was something, were things that I was kind of rolling around in my head this morning. And then here we have the Ten of Wands and the Ace of Wands, with cards of talking about transformation and healing and transmutation almost. And then the need to make solid this kind of really strong fire sexual power, right? Now, I'm not suggesting that you're all hung up about sex. I don't think that that's true, but I think that some of you are blocked in that way. And not least because there's some sort of lingering wound here that is associated with it. It's almost like you know that it's time to deal with this on some sort of level. You really, really want to reignite that part of yourself, for sure. But it's almost like every time you try, you hit this wall. This one here, of emotional wounding. Just keep coming up against it. Which is very, very interesting. And do you know what? I'm going to pull another card for that, because I'm quite intrigued as to know why this is here. Interestingly enough, we've got the Ace of Cups right at the bottom of the deck before we've even gone anywhere. Tell me about the Three of Swords, please. Thank you. We've got the Five of Pentacles. And Temperance. Yeah, this Temperance card again. The Five of Pentacles talks about loneliness and isolation, of being left out in the cold. That's tarot readers use that phrase a lot, right? But it's exclusion. It's being pushed away from things, and sometimes that can be from other people. You know, see, not fitting into social groups or stuff like that, not having someone with you, you know, who makes you feel alive. But actually, it often talks about not meeting your own basic needs to me, right? Because there's Five Pentacles. All energy is currency, whether it is money or anything else. Now, it could be that some of you are worried about money at the moment, and maybe that's putting a dampener on things. That's possible. But the Temperance card says it's time for you to have a look at this, because it's actually affecting you on lots of different levels, quite outside of the bedroom. And allow that to heal in some way, because at the root of it somewhere, there is an association. Now, the subconscious is a funny thing. It can get you upset about all sorts of things that don't appear on the face of it to be related to each other at all. But they are. There's something of a desire to want to really feel the blood pumping in your veins. But somewhere along the line, your emotional state is being all like, nah. And it's, well, let's not overspeak, but it seems to me like the lesson of this energy is asking you to go and identify what that is. What about the lesson here for Capricorn? Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, this is really, really clear. At the bottom of the deck now, we have the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups is all about illusion, and to some degree emotional illusion, right? Those illusions that we attach emotional stuff to, right? So not really knowing what you want, but knowing that you vaguely want something, but not ever quite managing to get to the root of it. Well, there's probably an emotional block there somewhere that's stopping you identifying it. Now, the reason that I cackled was because we've got the Eight of Wands and we've got the Four of Wands, two more Wands cards, but then we've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups, right? Sex can be just sex. right? We all know that. It can be those things, but it can be so much more too. And when you give yourself fully to that act with no fear, no shame, no any of this feeling here, it becomes something quite magical and otherworldly, right? It's like unlocking a whole new vault of energy that can drive you forwards. The lesson of this energy here is that actually there's communication trying to occur, right? There's communication from your subconscious that is saying there are things here that you are not dealing with that is affecting you. Please address it, right? Because we're going to stop you from enjoying yourself physically at this point in time until you do. The Four of Wands here, it talks about celebration, right? Sometimes we can talk about home, but it often talks about union of two people. But notice that it's all wands. It's all about that physicality, right? Now, the Four of Wands is a very balanced card. It's very symmetrical. Right? Got those 4 wands in a nice line there. And so it can mean union. It can mean two people coming together. Particularly when we've got it with the Ace of Wands here. Perhaps the communication actually needs to occur between you and your partner if you have one. If you do not have a partner, then it's about looking within yourself to see what it is that is separating you from, you know, enjoying your body. Now, it doesn't have to be about sex. Like I was from a Leo, so I'm just going to boil everything down to sex in the end of the day, right? It's a fire sign thing. But it could speak to exercise. It could speak to the fact that you are not enjoying the way that your body feels at the moment, right? And what I spoke about on this Instagram post that I just referenced before was the fact that the notion that mind, body and spirit are different things is incorrect. It's an illusion, right? That separation does not exist. They're all one and the same. And when you look after one thing to the exclusion of the others, then you actually stop yourself from existing as a whole, right? All of the things need to be taken care of all of the time. You know, you look after your body, it helps your mental state. You look after your mind, it helps you get the energy to get out there and do more, you know? And all of these things are absolutely intertwined with your spirituality and the health of your soul altogether. The last 2 cards there, the lesson, 8 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Now the 8 of Pentacles is the work card, right? Capricorn, we like this one. It's about working away at something until you achieve mastery at it. It's about putting your energy into something, right? Really working at it. And what are you working at? The Ace of Cups. Now, isn't it interesting that what it feels like is the physical expression of you, your body and all that sort of thing, is starting to feel like it is suffering in one way or another. And this might be sexually related, or it might not. It might be that you just don't really have the energy to get off the fucking sofa at the moment, right? You just want to sit and watch Netflix or whatever. Eating takeaway pizza. God, I've done enough of that myself actually recently. That was not cool. It could be that, right? And then we wonder why we just feel blah about everything, right? Or it might actually be sexually related, and it might be that actually intimacy through sex is something that isn't really happening at the moment. Like it feels mechanical. Take it as it resonates to you. But the key to unlocking all of this for you is your emotional state, right? The Ace of Cups is all about being open to receiving new things. It is that act of opening up. It is that act of becoming emotionally vulnerable with not only someone else, but also yourself. And Capricorn, that is something that you have struggled with for a long time. We've got, you know, the knowledge that there are things within you that need sorting out. Yes, I know about those, but I don't have time because I'm busy working at the moment, right? It's asking you to invest in yourself, the energy that you're in at the moment, because you will see results almost instantaneously, I feel, if you take the time to do that. You've got 2 aces here. And you have the 10 of Wands, 10 that speaks about an end, and then there's 2 aces that speak about beginning. The only thing that's sitting in between those is this 3 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, right? We've had the Temperance card appear twice for you. We've had the Death card talking about transforming something. The message is very clear here, Capricorn. Can I have some cards of advice for Capricorn, please? Oh, thank you. 7 of Pentacles is the first one. We have the Strength card and we have the Hierophant. That's really interesting. We also have the Queen of Cups at the bottom of the deck. The Queen of Cups is about opening up. She is water of water, and she is therefore the most passive of all the queens, but it's about receptivity, emotional receptivity. And for a lot of you, that is something that you really struggle with. We also have the King of Wands underneath here. Now that's a Leo card, just as the Queen of Cups is Cancer, but he is about taking charge of your body, right? He is the one who likes to feel the blood thumping in his veins. You know, I hear it roaring in your ears. It is that thing that makes you feel alive. Now, notice how currently they are sat back to back. And really what we want them to be doing is sat facing each other, right? Because you are actively opening up and bringing that energy into your life, into the way that you are living at the moment. Cards of advice that you've got are very interesting, because the Seven of Pentacles is talking about a dissatisfaction about something in your life as it is at the moment. It's kind of looking around at your life going, blah. You know, there's no fun, there's no passion, there's no enthusiasm for anything that you're doing at the moment. And it's like, it's asking you to identify what exactly the root of that is, rather than looking at it as one big picture and going, well, it's all a bit shit, really. It's kind of like, why? Start asking yourself the questions, right? Start interrogating yourself. Start applying that gargantuan intellect and work ethic that you have that normally is, you know, only expended at your work, and start interrogating yourself. Why do I feel like this, right? The first part of it, actually, for some of you, will be to start checking in with yourself and seeing what your emotions are, because for a lot of you, pushing those emotions to one side and not considering them at all is something that you have been trained to do from childhood. Start looking at your own emotions. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about the other? How do I feel full stop right now? What is my body asking me to do? Because it feels like it's kind of at the point now where your body is going, Capricorn, we've been ignoring these emotional issues for too long now. Now I'm going to start keeping a tally. And it's interesting, there's a book that I keep hearing people recommend. A lot of my personal clients have mentioned this. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. I forget who it's by. Do I have anything on here? I do not. I thought perhaps I might have had the author written down. That perhaps might be worth a look at for you, Capricorn, because it seems to me that your body is starting to keep the score now. And if you want to change it, and I feel very surely that you do, it's time to start paying attention to what it is that your body's telling you. Now, the two other cards that we have, interestingly, are Strength and the Hierophant. And this Strength card in the Llewellyn Tarot, I really, really love, because it's got water depicted on it, and it's so very rarely a symbol that's seen on the Strength card. You know, we're used to seeing the big wild animals and the demure looking woman, but this has got these animals charging through this water, right? And water in the tarot is emotion. This is about taking charge of your own emotions, which you can only really do by understanding them, right? You can't order it about your emotional state. You just can't do it. You have to work with it and get to a point where you can navigate it more easily than currently is open to you at the moment, because you're not open to it, right? The Strength card talks about soul growth in a lot of ways, and it talks about emotional growth too. And for some of you, that will involve, for a lot of you, that will involve being a little kinder to yourself about things. Not everything requires you to work harder at it. Sometimes it requires you to kind of step back from it and take a breather, right? Check in with yourself. Now, the Hierophant card, it's Taurus, and normally it speaks to a certain level of inflexibility. I always see this as quite dogmatic and rigid, you know, but in the Llewellyn it's quite different. There's a real sense of peace with it. It's a druid sat there on the rock, but the important point for me here is that he is sat just, you know, back from a stream. Now, the stream is the emotions, right? He's sitting there in a state of observation. Notice that we have symbols of peace in here. Yeah? We've got the harp in the corner, but this water is just flowing gently in front of him here. Right? There's no raging torrent here. There's no fear of getting knocked off one's perch. It's like, pursue the peace. Right? Allow yourself to grow into a peaceful place, almost, actually, but by being open to it. Now, for a lot of you, it's a fear that what is inside can never be peaceful. It can never be tamed. And Capricorn, that's just simply not true. It really isn't true at the moment. You spent so long not looking at it, you don't know that for now. But as it seems at the moment, your body is keeping the score, and it's really asking to have a conversation with you. So, what an interesting reading. I'm going to leave it there. As ever, I really hope that this helped. And feel free to, message me or comment or something like that if this has resonated with you. But know that I love you all very much, and I will see you soon.